Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Stella Umuna, and I'm the Program Quality Director for District 46. Today, we have the wonderful pleasure of having a dynamic speaker here. His name is Michael Pope. In 2003, Michael Pope walked into his first Toastmaster meeting, shy, introverted, and filled with self-doubt. He wasn't lacking intelligence. He wasn't lacking desire. He was just battling hesitation. That decision to step into discomfort changed everything. And today, Michael is an international keynote speaker, executive director with Maxwell Leadership, neuroencoding specialist, and creator of the Doers framework. And that's a system that helps high achievers break free from hesitation and build bold, disciplined action habits. His journey from software developer to people developer didn't just transform his career, it transformed his identity. As the CEO of Michael Pope Training LLC, he now empowers leaders and organizations to communicate with confidence, take decisive action, and create meaningful impact. Because life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. So without further ado, let's welcome Michael Pope to the virtual stage. Take it away, Michael.
Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you, District 46, fellow Toastmasters. As Stella mentioned, I am Michael Pope. Very excited to be here with you all today. And I'm excited about today's topic. You see, I'm going to be talking to you about how to be a doer of public speaking and really how to be a doer in Toastmasters, if you will. But to get us going, I just want you thinking a little bit about this past year. You see, believe it or not, we have 4 months, roughly 4 months left in this current Toastmaster year. So my question for you is, how are you doing with your Toastmaster goals right now? Do you still remember what they are? I know here in the United States, most of us set new goals at the beginning of the year, right? The New Year's resolutions. And studies show that by February, most people have completely forgotten about their goals. And I find the same to be true in Toastmasters. A lot of people, July 1st or late June, they're setting their goals, excited about the new year. However, by this time, most people have completely forgotten about their Toastmaster goals. So I want you to think, okay, what were your Toastmaster goals going into this new year? And how are you doing with them? I encourage you to write that question down and go back and seriously think about answering that question because it's going to help you move forward. So I have a few questions to get us going. So that's the first question. I encourage you to answer for yourself. The second question is, what goal are you most proud of that you followed through on? So thinking about the last several months here in Toastmasters, the last 8 months or so, in your current position with your current Toastmaster goals, is there one particular goal that stands out to you that, hey, I'm proud of the fact that I earned my triple crown, or I'm proud of the fact that maybe I completed my first path or my 10th path, whatever it was. What was that moment for you? The next question is, what obstacles did you have to overcome to make that goal achievable? I'll tell you, you'll hear a little bit about my story in a little bit for my Toastmasters journey. But I know for me, I had to overcome a lot of obstacles. Fear was a big one. So anytime you're achieving any goal worthwhile, you are going to have to overcome some obstacles. However, what I realize is that most people don't take note of those obstacles. Like you just kind of push through it, almost like you driving over a speed bump, and then you don't think anything else about it. However, high achievers realize that by making note of any obstacles that they overcome, it helps them with more confidence in the future. It helps them prepare and achieve goals faster because they know how to get through the obstacle. So think about for you, what obstacles did you have to overcome to make that goal achievable? Then one more question. What did you have to stop hesitating and start doing to achieve those goals? What did you have to stop hesitating and start doing to achieve those goals? We all had something we had to do. Maybe you had to hesitate about not putting your name on the agenda to give a speech, or not stepping outside of your club for a stretch opportunity to speak at another club or at another district? What did you have to stop hesitating? So I encourage you, think about those questions deeply. If you're a journaler, write them down in your journal. It'll help you out in the future. You see, the future doesn't happen by accident. It happens by being a doer. And I love talking about the concept of doing. But what I realize is that most people, before they can ever do, they have to do what I call, they have to start. And I use a simple acrostic for start. I don't have screenshots for it, but I'm just going to give you my START framework. So START, START. To get started, for me personally, what I have to do, if I'm facing fear, if I'm facing hesitation, I'll just simply stop and I'll smile. I just put a big smile on my face. And what that becomes is a pattern interrupt. You see, it gets my mind focused off of my goals. Off of my obstacles onto my goals. Because I'm just relaxed and I'm thinking about my desired outcome. So that's the S, smile. Then T is I simply take a deep breath, just relax myself a little bit, and I think about my desired outcome some more. And then A in start is act. I act. I take whatever action is first towards achieving that goal, I do it. It might be making a phone call. It might be putting my name on the agenda to give a speech. It might be logging into Pathways and reading through my project, right? There's some action that's required, and so I'll do that. Then R in start is all about rewarding yourself. Rewarding yourself for the things that you have complete control of, which are your actions and your attitude, right? So I'll say, Mike, great job, you did it. And I reward myself, and then I keep moving forward. And T is to take the next step. Because there's always a next step and always a next action that we need to take. Because as this quote here says, the future doesn't happen by accident. It happens by being a doer. And so you have to start, and then you start the process of being a doing. And so for me, and I didn't set this up, I apologize for that, but I want to share about how, as a result of being a doer, how I achieved some of my goals over the last 12 months or so. So one big one for me was speaking for the first time internationally in Jamaica. Flew over to Jamaica to give a keynote speech. And it was a result of me being a doer. So using what I just talked about before about being a doer and learning how to start, applying for speaking opportunities, stepping outside of my comfort zone, it allowed me to go to Jamaica at an amazing resort and give a keynote speech. Fast forward from there, my wife and I flew to Sydney, Australia, and I gave a keynote presentation in front of an amazing group of Aussies. Absolutely amazing experience. My first time in Australia. A goal achieved as a result of being a doer. From there, I was here in Atlanta, Georgia, had an opportunity to speak on stage with one of my heroes growing up, Mr. Les Brown. Sharing the same stage as Les Brown. That was an absolutely amazing experience, being able to have lunch with him and ask him questions. But it was a dream come true as a result of being a doer. Fast forward from there, I released my second book, Doers Win the Day, and today over 400 copies have been sold worldwide. But it's another goal achieved as a result of being a doer. One more for you here. Another one of my mentors, John C. Maxwell. Now I'm part of Maxwell Leadership, been a part of Maxwell Leadership since 2019. Well, I had an opportunity this past August to speak on the same stage as John Maxwell, have lunch with John Maxwell. Another goal achieved as a result of being a doer. One more for you here. My wife and I flew to Rome, Italy last year, and I had an opportunity to speak in front of a packed room, give a keynote presentation. Another goal achieved as a result of being a doer. And I'm going to share with you my doer framework in a minute, but I just wanted you to get that through your mind. Like this happened by accident. It happened as a result of being a doer. It happened because I was intentional with my goals and I followed through with them as a doer. One more. Last month, my wife and I went on our first cruise ever. Had opportunity to speak while I was on this cruise. Amazing time, 7 days. Another goal achieved as a result of being a doer. But friends, District 46, I have some great news for you. I wasn't always a doer. I wish I was, but I wasn't. You see, I was consumed with fear, doubt, and hesitation when I first joined Toastmasters. And most of my life growing up, I allowed hesitation to keep me seated at moments that I can never get back. Now, for you, think about it. What has hesitation cost you? You see, for me, it's cost me time. Hesitation has cost me a lot of money over the years. And like I mentioned before, it cost me moments that I can never get back. I remember a moment sitting on the front row at my grandfather's funeral with tear-filled eyes, and they gave an opportunity for someone to come up and speak to share remarks about my grandpa Joe. And I heard person after person come up and talk about my grandfather. And I remember just sitting there and I wanted to get up and talk, but I didn't because I allowed fear and hesitation and self-doubt to keep me in my seat. And the results of that regret, it lasted for several years until I found Toastmasters. And for me, I'll never forget my first speech in Toastmasters. Let me ask you, raise your hand if you can remember your first speech in Toastmasters. Yeah, I see many of you can. I'll never forget mine. You see, it was the summer of 2003, and I walked in there and they asked me to give my icebreaker speech, that 4 to 6 minute speech that we all have to give. And I was absolutely terrified. As I mentioned before, I was scared of public speaking. I'm a natural introvert. I'm an IT professional, which means I'd rather be typing on my computer versus having a conversation with you. And I had a low self-image. So that day I walked into the room and I sat in my seat and I came down with a bad case of the what ifs. What if I forget my lines? What if they don't like me? What if? And then I heard my name get called up and I slowly walked to the front of that room with my heart pounding. And I remember shaking hands with the Toastmaster that day, and my hands were dripping with sweat because of how nervous I was. And I looked out at the crowd, and you all know how it is in a Toastmaster room. It may have been 12 people in the room, but it felt like 12,000. And as I looked at them, the nervousness really increased. My mouth felt so dry, as if I had been chewing cotton balls all morning long. And I remember grabbing my notes. I said, hello, my name is Michael Pope. Those 4 minutes felt like 4 hours. And I remember that day, just nervously going back to my seat, feeling a little relieved that it was over, but still feeling slightly embarrassed. However, fortunately for me, like many of you, I had a mentor in Toastmasters. And my mentor leaned over, an amazing woman named Carol Cormelink. She leaned over and she said, Michael, great job, you did it. She said, Michael, it's going to get easier. She said, here in Toastmasters, we have a program to help you be a competent communicator. And Carol went on to be my mentor and guide over the last 16 years of her life. She worked with me. We became friends, spent a lot of time together. But Carol really mentored me and took me on under her wing in Toastmasters. And I'm forever grateful. And so what I've been able to do is take advice from mentors like Carol and some of the other mentors that I've gleaned over the years, that I've had opportunity to spend time with over the years, and I put it in my framework that I call DOER. And so that's kind of what I'm going to walk you through. So D in DOER stands for discipline. Discipline. And for me, what I learned from my mentor, Joseph McClendon, is that discipline is doing a prescribed activity no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. It's doing a prescribed activity no matter what. That means when I'm working with my mentor and she says, hey, Michael, you need to go out and speak at this club, or you need to speak at this TLI, or you need to speak at the conference, then discipline means I go do it. Even if I don't completely understand it, I do it anyway. And so that's what I started doing. So Carol told me, she said, Michael, I want you to discipline yourself to study other speakers. Discipline yourself to study other speakers. And she helped me out because at the time when I first met her, I really didn't know of a lot of speakers or how to access them. So what Carol did for me is she handed me DVDs of champion speakers in Toastmasters and other great speakers. DVDs, she gave me books and she gave me access to resources to help me out. She told me to attend certain conferences to learn about speaking. And I started doing that. I started disciplining myself to do that. As a result of doing that, I've had an opportunity to learn and study for some of the best of the best. And I'm constantly studying them. I'm constantly learning from them. People like Darren LaCroix, Les Brown, Joseph McClendon III, John Maxwell, and so many other people. I am constantly studying them. Now, don't get me wrong. My goal is never to try to imitate any of those speakers, right? We're not trying to be copies of other speakers, but we study the success principles that they have. And so there's three main areas that I typically look for when I'm studying speakers. One is their audience connection. I want to watch them to see how are they connecting with their audience, through their stories, through their engagement on stage. How do they connect with their audience even when they're off stage? I actually learn more from watching speakers off stage than when they're on stage. Like, how are they walking through the crowd, shaking hands with people, taking pictures with people, edifying other people, right? How are they giving praise back to other speakers? I study that connection. The second thing is the stories and the anecdotes. I love watching how they take certain stories and analogies and put them together to make them so that everyone understands the concept. And I'll take notes, right? I may watch a video or TEDx talk and I'm taking notes on how are they telling these stories? What type of stories are they telling? How many stories as opposed to teaching points are they using? Constantly studying those, right? Discipline myself to study other speakers. The third thing is the delivery and their presence. How do they stand on stage? Right? How do they deliver their content virtually or in person? How are they delivering when the technology fails? I'll tell you, when I was in Jamaica, I remember I was the first speaker of the day. I arrived early. I asked for a tech check. So I checked in with the AV team and to make sure that everything was working. They said, oh, yeah, man, we got everything working. We got everything working. I get up on stage and I look over at the screen is blank. I look over at the AV guy and he's trying to figure out how to get my slides to show up on the screen. Now, thankfully, I had been in Toastmasters long enough where I know how to speak on the fly. And also, I know how to prepare for a speech. So I was well prepared. So even though my tech wasn't working the way I wanted, I was still able to deliver the first 15 minutes of my presentation without my slides. And then when he finally got it up running, I was able just to quickly advance to show them what I mentioned before for any visuals that they need to see. But I didn't panic, right? I wasn't nervous because the tech wasn't working. Because I've disciplined myself to study other speakers to see how they handle it. And I encourage you to do the same. So friends, I encourage you, figure out ways that you can do. What can you do to discipline yourself to study other speakers? Whether it's just in District 46 or Toastmasters International or TEDx or whatever platform, discipline yourself. Now transitioning to the O endure, O stands for one thing. And it's really all about focus. You see, one of the mistakes that most high achievers make is they try to do too much at the same time. Right? We all think that we can multitask. I find myself guilty of that as well, trying to multitask at times. But really, successful people know that, hey, you can only really focus on one thing at a time. Even if there's one thing for 15 minutes here, then one thing for 15 minutes over there, but trying to go back and forth, it slows you down. So I had to figure out what my one thing was. And my mentor, Carol, early in my Toastmasters career, she said, Michael, The one thing you should focus on is taking advantage of every opportunity to speak. She said, take advantage of every opportunity to speak. She said, if you show up at your Toastmasters club and you look at the agenda and there are no speeches that day, she said, I want you to stand up and give your icebreaker speech again or give some speech again. She said, take advantage of opportunities to speak. I'll never forget it. I remember I've been following her process, right? Her teachings, and I've been speaking on a regular basis. I would speak at my home club, and then I would go speak at another club. Take the same speech, give it in multiple places. And I remember her coming up to me. She said, "Hey, Michael, are you going to be at the TLI on Saturday?" And I was like, "Yeah, Carol, I'll be there." Right? Because she told me I should be there. I was going to be there. Carol said, "Great." She handed me a manual and she said, "We need someone to facilitate the evaluate to motivate session. Here you go. I'll see you on Saturday." And I'm thinking it's like 4 days away. This is a 45-minute presentation. And at that time, I had only ever done 5 to 7 minute speeches in Toastmasters. But I trusted my mentor. And I went home and I studied that evaluate to motivate session. And I was able to deliver my first 45-minute session at a TLI. And because I did it at that TLI, I started doing it at every single TLI at least once a year. Really, most years it was 2 or 3 different TLIs that our district had throughout the year. I would give different 45-minute talks. You see, doing that, listening to my mentor, taking advantage of every opportunity to speak, it prepared me for professional speaking all around the world. Right? I got used to speaking in front of different audiences and quickly preparing content because I disciplined myself to take advantage of every opportunity to speak. And friends, I encourage you to do the same. If you're just comfortable right now speaking in your club, speak in your club as much as possible. Then once you get ready, speak outside of your club and within your district. I started speaking because Carol was my mentor. I started speaking at our district conference every single year and then applying for other conferences to speak at because you have to get your reps in. And Carol knew that about me. She knew that with me being a natural introvert, that I would sit in meetings and I wouldn't speak up. And so she kept encouraging me, Michael, go speak, speak, speak. Now I'm still introverted, I'll tell you. However, I say yes to most speaking opportunities nowadays. If it is in alignment with my goal, I say yes because I understand the benefit. And for me, it doesn't matter whether I'm getting paid or whether it's a fee waived opportunity. I understand the advantage of taking advantage of every opportunity to speak. And I encourage you to do the same. As a result of that, I've had opportunity to speak on hundreds of stages worldwide, and I'm constantly doing it. I was on a call earlier today with a company looking to have me speak in April in Virginia, talking about speaking, right? They're going to pay me to come out to Virginia to speak because I took advantage of opportunities to speak early on in my Toastmasters career. And that's why I've still been in Toastmasters for over 20 years now, because I know it works. So I encourage you to do the same. Look for opportunities to speak. Now, ENDURE stands for Eliminate Excuses and Distractions. Eliminate excuses and distractions. And I'll tell you, when I first started, I had loads of them. The biggest one was I'm not a public speaker. I would constantly tell myself that, oh, I'm not a public speaker, so I can't speak at this event. Or I can't speak up at this meeting because I'm not really a good speaker. Lots of excuses. I've had distractions. I know I've talked to a lot of district officers and even club presidents who will say, oh, I can't give speeches this year because I'm club president. I want to let the rest of my members get their speaking in. And then they don't hit any goals. Right? They're using that office as a distraction from hitting their goals. So for me, I had to learn how to eliminate those. Something that helped, obviously, Toastmasters helped me out with that. But what I realized is that there are some gaps, some things that really stop people from becoming doers, stop people from really overcoming those excuses. And so I'm going to share some with you. So one is the confidence gap. where you assume that your speaking skills will develop without practice. And it doesn't, right? I know a lot of people they're DTM. I earned my DTM many years ago. There's people who are DTM who no longer give speeches because they just assume, oh, I earned my DTM. I don't have to practice my speaking anymore. I'm also a part of NSA, National Speakers Association. I know a lot of speakers in NSA who won't join clubs like Toastmasters because they think it's beneath them. Because they assume, oh, I've been paid to speak, so I don't need to practice my speaking skills. That's a gap that really will hurt your confidence. So don't let that be you. Use it. I encourage my NSA friends and Maxwell friends to join Toastmasters because I know the value that Toastmasters offers. Another one is a skill gap. Hey, I don't know how to improve my speaking abilities. We're at a time right now between AI and YouTube and so many other resources for free. You can learn how to improve your speaking skills. And obviously, you all are in Toastmasters. You know, Toastmasters has an amazing program. Every single month, they release a magazine with tips on improving your speaking ability. Most people don't take advantage of it. The timing gap. I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity to speak. I remember I did that for years. Instead of me going out and applying for a paid speaking opportunity, I would wait. I said, "Oh, well, that's not the right opportunity for me." So when I do it, I'm gonna find the right one, the right place to speak first. First, just going and doing it, right? The fear gap, being afraid of being criticized or judged. I know I dealt with that for years, early on in my career with the low self-image. Hey, I didn't want to get judged, so I wouldn't apply to speak at places for fear of what people thought. But I had to learn how to overcome that as a doer. I know people right now who won't record videos. We want to talk about something that really helps marketing for a Toastmasters club. If people are recording videos of themselves speaking and giving credit back to Toastmasters, right? It's like we're speakers. Why would you not be putting out videos on a regular basis to letting people know, hey, I speak, I speak, I speak. They need to see your videos. I record videos on a regular basis because I understand the value of it. Don't let that fear stop you. Here for more, the preparation gap. Thinking that I have to be fully prepared before I speak. That holds so many speakers back, especially Toastmasters, of thinking, oh, okay, I got to get this speech perfect before I go up and give it to my club and get feedback. Don't let that be your gap. I'll tell you, I love when my speech is in the early phases of it, taking it to a Toastmasters club and allowing them to give me feedback, tearing it apart, saying, oh, do this, add that. Because that way, when I go stand on a stage in front of a paying audience, it's going to be tight thanks to the feedback I received in Toastmasters. So we always tell our members, hey, your speech doesn't need to be fully prepared. Obviously, we want you to prepare, but it doesn't have to be perfect before you speak. Give your speech, receive feedback, implement that feedback, and then give it again. The motivation gap. You know, feeling like, hey, I don't feel inspired to work on my public speaking. Don't let that be your gap. Don't wait for motivation. One thing about doers is they do it even when they're not motivated. And most doers know that the act of doing will motivate you. It's amazing how that happens. I've seen we've had people come to our club before and do a table topic, a little nervous about doing table topic. Then they answered a question. They started feeling motivated, like, oh, that felt good, right? Because you kind of surprise yourself. So do it anyway. The comparison gap. Other speakers are more talented than I am. That held me back for years as well. Because I belonged to a club where we had a lot of international speech district winners were in my club. So I had some great speakers that I was constantly evaluating and being around. And then, of course, you know, you go to apply for a paid speaking opportunity and you see all these other people. You're like, oh, such and such spoke there. I don't know if I'm ready. Right? That comparison thing. I had to let that go, and I encourage you to do the same. Don't compare yourself, right? Only person that we compare ourselves to is ourselves. Make sure that we're constantly getting better. That's why I love recording myself and seeing the progress. The last one is the effort. I thought becoming a great speaker would be easy. I've met a lot of people who fall into this gap. People who are going into the professional speaking world, and they were like, "Man, I thought it would being a great speaker would be easy. I've earned my DTM. I've got multiple DTMs, and why aren't people like inviting me to come speak?" It doesn't happen just because of a title. You have to keep working at it, right? We have to keep doing it over and over and over. So, like my mentor told me, Michael, take advantage of every opportunity to speak. I'm constantly doing that to work on that speaking muscle. Okay. So, the thing that helped me the most with learning how to overcome my speaking excuses was, of course, the Toastmasters education program. That's one of the reasons why I've been in Toastmasters for over 20 years now, because I know that education program works. Earlier on, when I started, my mentor, Carol, she told me, she said, Michael, every single year, I want you to earn a triple crown. So for our district, triple crown means that that you achieve at least, that you complete 3 projects. I know some districts is slightly different, but for ours is three projects. And what she told me was, she said, by earning a triple crown, that means you're giving enough speeches per year to move you closer towards your goals. So I started doing that over and over. When Pathways came out, I initially jumped in and I started on 2 paths: presentation mastery, and I think it was the leadership development one. I completed those paths, started taking other paths because I knew that the Toastmasters education program worked. So, friends, I encourage you, think about, okay, what excuses or distractions are stopping me from achieving my goals faster? So think about that. So that was E, eliminate excuses. The R, endure, stands for responsibility. And it's all about really personal responsibility. You see, I learned a long time ago there's 2 things that we have complete control over. One is our attitude, meaning how we think about things, how we think and respond, and then our actions, what we do with it. Complete control. We can't control other things. We can't control how other people respond to us. However, we can always control how we respond, how we think. We can always control what we do. So we have to take that personal responsibility. So here's some actions that you can take as a speaker. One, I already mentioned it before. Speak at every opportunity you get, right? Toastmasters clubs, your club, local club. Be an open house speaker when needed. Be a TLI speaker or a conference speaker. Speak outside of your club, outside of your district. Other organizations, Rotary Club, Chambers of Commerce. There are so many organizations that are always looking for speakers. Speak at every opportunity, big or small. Podcasts as well. That's how I met Stella. She put in a post in a Facebook group looking for a podcast speaker many years ago. She said I was the first person who said yes because I understood the value of speaking. Record every speech. I encourage you to do that. Even if you don't like watching yourself on video, just record it. You just never know. I learned so much by going back and watching myself speak than any feedback that someone else can give me, right? Because there's some things that you're going to notice, like, why did I say that? Or why did I do that? And it happens because it was recorded. Then study your recordings without judgment. I learned how to do that from studying other speakers. I remember working with Craig Valentine and him talking about how he studies his speech. He said, when you watch your recording of your speech, he said, watch it 3 times. He said, the first time, just watch it at normal speed and take notes and give it an evaluation. He said, the next time, turn the sound off and just watch your gestures to see, do your gestures make sense? Okay. And then he said, the third time, you want to turn the video off and just listen to the audio. All right. How does it sound? Do you have good vocal variety? Like, does it make sense without the visuals? But he gave me a great process for studying my recordings without judgment. Volunteer for roles outside of your comfort zone. That's the beauty of Toastmasters. There's so many roles available in Toastmasters, right? I know I've grown so much just because of Toastmasters. I get paid to do trainings now in a corporate sense because I first did those trainings in Toastmasters at a TLI or at a conference or at a club function. Built those skills, built those leadership skills, how to run meetings in Toastmasters and take it to the corporate world. Practice vocal variety daily or reading out loud. This is one of the things that my wife and I implemented with our kids. We have 3 sons. They're now 19, 17, and 13. Every single day, because we do daily devotionals, we have them reading out loud. One is we want them to get comfortable hearing their own voice and get used to projecting on a regular basis. And it worked out great. Like they don't have a fear, they don't have the same fear that I had as far as speaking in front of others because they've heard themselves speak so many times. It's so rewarding to see. Then, of course, study great speakers, but don't imitate them. Okay, so those are some actions that you can take as a speaker. Now, let's talk about some attitude choices that you can make. Have a learner's attitude, right? Every stage is a classroom. I'm constantly going to conferences and studying other people all the time, right? Even YouTubers watching how they speak to a camera and maintain the interest, maintain my interest, right? I'm constantly studying. Have a server's attitude, right? It's not about me, it's about them. That's something else that I learned from studying other speakers. I learned how do they engage with the audience when they're off the stage. Now, for me, I'm a natural introvert. The last thing that I like doing is talking to people, especially strangers, even after I speak, right? I'd rather go to my room and talk to no one. However, I've learned I have to be a server. So if someone wants to ask me questions, I've got to be willing to have a conversation with them. If someone wants to take a picture with me, I'll do it. I've learned how to make myself available as a servant to know that it's not about me, it's about them. And that's an attitude. Have a courageous attitude, right? Move even when fear shows up. And at every level, you're going to feel that fear. Trust me. I've dealt with the imposter syndrome, but I had to learn it's a choice, right? I can have an attitude of, hey, I'm in the right place. I believe that I deserve to be here and keep moving forward. I told you about how I showed you the picture earlier, how I was speaking on stage with Les Brown. Interesting thing. So Les Brown comes off stage. I was behind stage. I'd already met him before, but he came off stage. I had to speak directly after Les Brown. So you want to talk about, watching Les Brown move the audience and deliver an absolutely amazing talk, then knowing that, okay, you got to speak next. However, I choose the right attitude. I know that I deserve to be there, that I earned the right to be there. And it was great. And of course, obviously shaking his hand again and chatting with him, but knowing that even if the fear shows up, I have to have a courageous attitude. Okay. A consistent attitude. Reps make you more remarkable, right? You want to be consistent, very predictable is what people tell me. Okay. Another one is a curious attitude. Every moment is material. I'm constantly studying other people and just learning from other people of how they do things. A resilient attitude. A rough speech isn't failure, it's a foothold, right? It's an opportunity to learn. John Maxwell says, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And that's what happens. Trust me, I've been places with tech issues or times where maybe my throat is drier than it really should be as a speaker. But you just have to push through it and realize, okay, I'm going to learn from that. I'm not going to eat that type of food the night before. I'm not going to drink that the night before or the day of. Right? You start learning from it. So, friends, District 46, that's how you become a doer. Discipline yourself to study other speakers. Focus on one thing that's going to move you closer to your goals. And like I said, for me, that one thing was taking advantage of every opportunity to speak. Eliminate the excuses and distractions that are keeping you from achieving your goals as soon as you want to. and then take personal responsibility for your attitude and your actions. And I believe that if you do that, you will be a doer. I am Michael Pope. It's been my absolute pleasure serving you, District 46 today. And with that, Stella, I will turn it back over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was a wonderful presentation. So at this time, we would like to take questions from the audience.
All right.
Michael's here to answer all our questions.
I'll do my
Yeah,
best.
first question actually I have is from our program, our PRM, PR manager. She wants to know, how did you get your background like that? Give us the trick,
She
how
wants to
you
know
were able
the
to show
tech
that.
behind everything, right?
The trick behind,
Okay.
yes. She wants to know that.
So PowerPoint has a feature called Cameo. It's free with PowerPoint, so you all have access to it. In PowerPoint, its feature is called Cameo, Cameo. That allows you to put your video camera into your PowerPoint slide, so you can control the slides and all that. Essentially, so that's what I'm doing. And then I have a Mac computer, and I'm using a software called Ecamm Live as my virtual camera. So that allows my PowerPoint presentation to be my virtual camera in Zoom. Hope that helps.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, we have Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Good evening. How you doing? I had a
Wonderful.
meeting today, District 46. I am brand spanking new to Toastmasters.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am the president. And
Woo. You knew when they threw you into presidency, huh?
and I just want to know, okay, so I've done a speech. I've done a couple of things before. I'm new with all of this. I'm learning. I think a mentoring person would be good for me, but as the president, I'm gaining my momentum on speaking, but I need like guidance with it, and I'm trying to figure out my way to go with it. So I started with boot camp. I'm getting to know and understand more and more about it. But what advice can you give me? Because I love doing it. I'm kind of good with public speaking because I do oh God, I do like groups and stuff like that. I speak
Okay.
with children, I mentor and stuff like that. So I like it. But sometimes I get a little nervous when it comes to me because I think my title, like the president's supposed to have everything together.
Mm.
And I know that I'm not, and I know it takes time.
So the first thing I'll tell you is, Lisa, is your title doesn't equate to experience, right? So don't put that expectation on yourself,
Okay.
right? You're new, and that's okay. So like, don't say because I'm the president or because I'm division director or I'm district director, I'm supposed to have it all, right? Or I'm a DTM, I'm supposed to have it all together. You're not. Uh, so for you, what I would say is work on getting your reps, right? So even though you're president, you still set the example. So as president, you can set the example. You're speaking at every meeting anyway to open it up,
Mhm.
but still give speeches. Like your members need to see you setting goals. They need to see you missing goals, right? And so like you tried and you didn't do it, right? That's okay.
Yeah.
Let them know. But they still need to see you doing that. And that's going to help you out, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
You're a
welcome.
very articulate speaker. I like it. Concise,
Oh, thank you.
clear,
Thank
and just
you.
good. Thank
Keep
you.
it simple. Yes. And Lisa, I'll say also, as a president, really any Toastmaster, you can speak at other clubs. If you get to a point where you feel like, okay, they're not giving me good feedback because I'm the president, go speak, take your speech, give it at another club. And,
Mhm.
and really, in some cases, so a big misconception that a lot of people have is, and because of Toastmasters, they think that every time they speak, it has to be a new speech. Professional speakers don't do that, right? If you follow Les Brown for any time, you know that his "I'm hungry" speech, he's probably given that 1,000,001 times now. Most people can repeat the words because they've heard it so many times.
Mhm.
You think about any musician that's good, they're repeating the same song over and over and over. That's
Right.
okay. That's how you get good at a message. So take your talk, give it in your Toastmaster club, then go give it at a neighbor club and another neighbor club, right? Another club. Give that same talk, get the feedback, and keep making incremental improvements.
I get very good feedback from my club. It's just that I think it's me that I have to build my confidence up. So the
Yes.
more I do it, the more I dive into it, the more confident I feel. But I
Yes.
really am enjoying it. So I know practice makes perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Keep enjoying it, right? And practice doesn't make perfect. There's no, you're never going to give a perfect speech in Toastmasters, right? You can watch the world champion of public speaking and the speech isn't perfect. Even if it's an amazing speech, the next time they give it, it's probably going to be better,
Okay.
right? So practice kind of makes permanent. So you want to be practicing well,
Thank you so much.
Lisa. Great question.
Yes, anyone? I know Julius
Ro?
had a few
Okay.
comments.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Ro wants. Oh, Ro, yeah, Ro has a question. Go ahead, Ro.
Thanks, Stella. Hello, Michael. Thank you for joining us tonight and for
You're
spending your
welcome.
time with us. Now, after all these years that you've been in Toastmasters, what continues to inspire you to stay active in the community?
So for me is I love watching new members overcome their fear because it reminds me of where I started and then watching them progress. So that's something that always inspires me right there. And then also as a speaker, I realize I still see the value in Toastmasters. I can take a speech and have a brand new Toastmaster give me feedback and a different perspective. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Right? You didn't understand that part? Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Then I can fix it. So Toastmasters is so valuable.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome, Ro.
Thank you, District Director Ro. Great question. Who else wants to ask some questions? While we wait, I had a question just before we started about books. If you look at this background,
Oh,
he has a few books, and he was telling me he was giving me the secret about how to monetize writing a book. So if you can repeat that, it was a good conversation I had with you.
yeah. So Doers Win the Day is my second book. You can learn more about it at doerswintheday.com or you can find it on Amazon. And I self-published the book through Amazon. And for me, the concept of doer. So I gave a keynote presentation in 2022 called Become a Doer. And I started using the doer acrostic in multiple places in Toastmasters and other places. And I just took the concepts from that keynote and used AI to help me write the book out. Uh, but it's in terms of monetizing it, for me, what works best is I use the book as a business card. So when I'm applying to speak at different companies or different conferences, it's one of the items, right? So I have a keynote fee, then I have an optional, hey, every attendee can purchase or you can purchase X number of books for this price type of thing. And I give them a discounted price to purchase the books. So that's one way that's helped me sell over 400 books is by having companies purchase like mass books and all of that. So I hope that answers your question.
It's amazing. Thank you.
You're
Great
welcome.
tip. Yeah, I never thought about that. One would think you just want to sell them, but you know what? At each time when you speak, you can sell them at the various venues. So that's a way to do that. And it is more of a business card, as you said. It's not really
Hmm.
for making money, it's for introducing yourself. So that's great. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I had Julius. Julius, I know you sent me a message and he wants to look at your video. He was praising you, by the way. So Julius, go ahead.
Yeah, I
Say
mean,
something.
sir, this was very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
And it's something, what you shared was something that you've learned over a period of years of experience. Yes, you can be a DTM and, oh, yeah, yeah, I got there, this and that. But over the course of years of speaking in your experience, now you fine tune your craft even better. And that was the eye opener of how one can improve even better. So this is taking it to another level of Toastmasters that I know I never realized that it could be. And I appreciate you sharing it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Julie. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Julius. And Doriano, I know Doriano always has a comment to make. Go ahead, Doriano.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for your presentation. 2
You're
days ago,
welcome.
I watched with my wife a movie called Perfect Days. Today, I was listening song Perfect Day by Reed, and now I watched your perfect presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I have one question. 2 weeks ago, I delivered my first DTM speech called Handbook for Best Practices for Our Club Global Yoga Voices. Have 4 chapters. I explained
Hmm.
chapters. The 4th chapter I didn't explain. I hesitate to explain. I'm waiting for perfect timing to do that. So now I would ask you, would you support my 4th chapter? It is about to pursue officers and clubs to allow that all speakers roles and no speaker slots and meeting roles be assigned on rotation base in front. With this is not pushing people to speak, uh, you know, regularly, but this is act of supporting people. I think your presentation actually did exactly that. To be
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. And I've heard I know different clubs that'll do that where they'll automatically assign people. And sometimes it helps, right? I know for me, there's roles that I've done in Toastmasters because someone kind of volunteered me to do it. Because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So how can I support you? Is it just more what are you asking there?
just saying yes, this is a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's not as powerful as when people truly make their own choice to say, I'm gonna speak next week or I'm gonna speak at the next meeting. Right? That's more intentional versus getting assigned. However, I know for me, when I first started, I needed someone to tell me, Michael, you need to be the Toastmaster of this meeting, or you need to be the odd counter of this meeting. Right? Everybody needs a little push now and then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. We have 2 more questions. We have Anna White. I don't know who Anna White and Lisa after that.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, go
you.
ahead, Anna.
Michael,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was very, very inspiring. And I'm super curious because I'm also working on a book that I want to use as a calling card once it's complete. So, how did you go about, or how do you go about finding all these conferences and the cruises and the international opportunities? How do you find all those opportunities to speak?
Yeah, so they're all available. So one is I use espeakers.com as that's a speaking directory. So it's a paid service. Espeakers.com is a great place to you can apply for speaking opportunities. They also have a directory where you can see like chambers of commerce and schools and so meeting planners, right? So different contact information is on there. I also use bark.com, and Bark sends me leads for speaking opportunities. Mostly are paid, some are free, and you can see them. You can choose which leads you want to purchase based on the location and topic and all that. I do that. Also, I reach out to companies directly. So especially if you have I know you're writing a book. So if your book is solving a certain problem, figure out, okay, who needs this problem solved,
Mm-hmm.
and go and do it for them. So even if you have to go for free or fee waived, what we typically call it, at a company, it's still a great way to get in. So even I had a place where I spoke for free and they just purchased copies of my book. So that works as well.
When you're, sorry, just a quick follow-up.
Mhm.
When you go to a company to approach them, are you approaching HR? Is that kind of how you try to get in?
Yeah, so get typically you if you let's say you're calling, you can ask them, does your company hire people to train the employees? They may say yes or no, or I don't know, right? But if they can get you to someone who can answer that question for you, whether they pay people to hire, I mean, they pay trainers as well. Like, so try to find that person. So it might be someone in HR. It
Uh-huh.
might be someone in talent and development. Like some companies, depending on the size of the company, like because like a large company, their HR department might have 100 people in it, right?
Mhm.
So you got to figure out like someone who's in charge of either leadership development or some type of training program. But then also some companies, it may just be going to a manager and you're doing a small training for their team, and that could open up opportunities at other places too.
Thank you. That's super helpful and very practical. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But yeah, definitely check out bark.com for leads and
These
e-speakers.
speakers.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And then also, and I'll say for really anybody who's, if you are trying to like put yourself out there as a speaker, you do want to have a speaker website or at least a speaker one sheet where people can see, okay, these are the topics that they speak on. And here's some social proof, maybe testimonials and all of that, right? So really build out your speaker profile. And it can just be a simple one-page website.
Thank you. Next, we have Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, again.
So this is kind of Stella, as Michael said about mentoring. Who would I connect with for my role? Being that I'm just started to have mentoring. I know you said to visit clubs and stuff like that, but who would I connect with for District 46 to have a mentor to get started? With where I'm at.
Stella, do you want to answer that or yeah?
Yes, usually you would have your VP of education
Oh,
would actually assign a mentor. If it's a
okay,
new club, you can use a mentor outside the club.
okay.
And if it's a brand new club, there are also club mentors, so that would be your mentor as well. So I can connect you with Roslyn, our club director. I'll take your name down and then I'll connect you with her.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
I'll say
much.
your area director might be able to help you out as well.
Area
And a lot of
director as well,
times,
yes.
if the club, unless the club is new, you may have someone was president before you. If they're still a member of your club, that person might be a good mentor.
It's
Just
brand spanking new.
okay, yeah. So that would
So
typically
your
be
club
like
mentor.
area director,
Mhm.
club
Okay.
growth directors. Like somebody should be able to help you. And I know, like
Okay.
for us in our district, all the club presidents are invited to a district council meeting of just the president, so that way they can kind of collaborate with each other as presidents. So that
Nice.
helps.
Okay. Thank you both so much.
Is this that's Fordham University, right? What club are you in? What's the new club? Your club name?
Rising Ground, District
Oh, Rising
46.
Ground. Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
I know Rising Ground. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next let's talk to Tensi.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Michael, I thank you so much for this session here. I've gained so much. I really needed the push.
I'm happy to give you that push.
Yes, I'm receiving it. I consider myself an introvert too, but you know, it's all about how you get your energy.
Yes.
So we shouldn't really focus on that. Just believe that we can do it. Just like how you believe you can do it and you did it. And you are doing it. You're a conqueror. So I thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think that's about it.
All right.
And I'll tell you about
Thank
the
you.
energy thing. So as an introvert, normally as an introvert, after we expend a lot of energy, we've got to recharge. I've had to learn how to quickly recharge myself in a matter of seconds, especially when I go from speaking on stage, knowing I'm going out into the audience as an introvert. I've got to be on my game, right? Even if I'm feeling a little mentally drained and all that. All right, got to refocus. That's where the start comes in, right? I smile, take those deep breaths, and really, so that act may be shaking someone's hand, having a conversation with someone, even outside of my comfort zone.
Good.
It's rewarding. Just keep pushing yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm pushing myself because this year I've started to do one speech every month for the whole year. And I've been in
Good.
Toastmasters for maybe about 10, 11 years. But
Good.
I'm just being motivated now,
Yeah.
to really
Good.
take action.
And I'll tell you, so one thing and I would challenge you to do too, right? So take the same speech and give it another club. So that way, give that speech, get feedback, and then take it to another club versus trying to write 10 speeches, like a whole new speech every month. Take the same speech and get feedback. Then you'll grow faster from knowing that you implemented the feedback and made small changes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, last question because we are already at time. Irina.
Hi, Irina.
Hello, everyone. Michael, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone else, for great questions. And it was very helpful. You asked things that I didn't know I needed to know. And now I know. Perfect. And thank you, Michael, for not gatekeeping anything and just giving us all of the tea.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
And my question is, so I think this Saturday there is a contest, and I am representing my club, and I'm very new. I started this month, and I'm representing my club in table topics, and I would like your advice on how to prepare for it best, and how to not freeze on the stage and not faint, because that's a concern I have. But just like not being afraid that I will start mumbling and saying.
So let me ask you: Have you ever fainted before?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But
But you
not
survived.
speaking. Okay.
Okay.
Fair
Okay.
question.
Yes, I don't think that would happen. So something that has helped me in the past prepare for something like a table topics is practice. And obviously you can practice with a person, have them ask you questions and respond. There's a software tool that used to be free for Toastmasters. I'm not sure if it's still free or not, but Udly AI, they had a interview model that was perfect for table topics where you get random questions and you on video you would answer that question in that 1 to 2 minute time frame, and then AI would give you feedback back. So that's something you can do too, and that's Udly. I think it's still connected to Toastmasters, but it's been a while since I've used it.
Utily, like UTILY.
No, Udly.
It's
Y O. Yeah.
YOODLI also.
Yes.
Udly.
Yes. There you go. Yep.
Sorry, again, why? So sorry, that didn't.
I'll get it.
Why?
YOO, two O's, DLI, I think. DLIE or DLIY. So let me look for it.
Yes. I'll put it in the chat here.
Check there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But yeah, Udly is a really good
UDLI.
program.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. And good luck with you on the table topics contest. And I commend you for having the courage to even jump into the contest.
Okay, so they volunteered me because I was
Yes.
winning it in a row. I won like 3 in a row, and they were like, "You're going."
Yes.
Yes. Otherwise, I would have never done it.
You're gonna love the experience, regardless of the results, right? I'll tell you, just after you do it, just celebrate. The results don't matter. Don't get hung up on the results, win or lose, it doesn't matter. But just celebrate the fact that you're willing to do it, because it's just going to help you grow. It's going to help you hit your goals faster.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. And so you said you're new to Toastmasters. What was your goal for joining Toastmasters?
What was my goal to
Yes.
join? Honestly, because I'm a founder, to pitch to investors in a better way and to do that. But then I found out that I actually really like it. And yes, so now I'm like, okay, I want to. So I'm excited to compete.
Yeah. And as someone who's going to be pitching, you're going to be speaking on the fly on a regular basis, having to answer questions with confidence. All right. And so table topics would definitely help you out that and help you keep the answers short.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right, thanks everyone. Let's give Michael a wonderful round of applause for such a great presentation.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
all.
We might invite you back because we see we have so many questions. So thank you. I
Yes.
will
And
provide the
feel free to
feedback
connect
and we
with
will
me
share
on
the
LinkedIn if you want as well.
Yes.
I'll put my
Go ahead,
LinkedIn.
share your stuff.
There you go. There's my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. But thanks so much, Stella, for reaching out.
Thank
Right.
you. Stella,
Thank you,
don't forget
everyone.
me. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to send you an email right now. I'll
Yes,
speak
help
to
her find a
Rosalind.
mentor to help her out.
Oh, yes, I'll
Yeah.
find a perfect mentor for you. All
Okay.
right. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Take care. Take care,
Great day,
everyone. Have
everybody.
a good night. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.